Hey folks, we just got done riding Yamaha Motor's 2022 XSR900. This is a retro-styled sport bike from the Tuning Fork brand out of Japan. Now this XSR900 platform originally debuted for the 2016 model year. It was based off the original FZ09. Now the whole theory behind this XSR900 platform is having a motorcycle that is sporty yet still has cool retro styling and pays homage to where Yamaha's been over the last few decades of making some of the most exquisite motorcycles on the road. Now for 2022, Yamaha Motors fully overhauled this vehicle. It's based at its core off the overhauled for the 2021 model year MT-09, which we have reported on extensively on this channel and our Motorcyclist Online blog. Now for 2022, this vehicle benefits from the long stroke 890cc CP3 triple cylinder engine. I love this engine. It also benefits from the tweaked chassis, new suspension, and a bunch of other parts. Let's get into it. I love the engine on this XSR900. It has gobs of torque, it has a really sweet engine and exhaust note, and it puts out a good amount of power, right around 105 horsepower at the business end of the OE fitted Bridgestone Batlax S22 rubber. Now this CP3 engine now benefits from updated electronics. This vehicle now has 4 adjustable combined engine and throttle maps. 1 is the most aggressive, 4 is the least. Of course, we like the intimate response of the first setting. You also have IMU powered traction control and wheelie control. Yamaha calls it lift control. It's very easy to customize the settings inside the menu system. We also have brake control. So in the setting BC setting 1, that is the less aggressive brake setting. In that setting, you have no cornering function, where conversely in BC level 2, you have cornering ABS. Yamaha Motor won't call it that, but that's what it is. But the ABS kicks on a little bit more aggressively. Still, even at our pace, we didn't really have the ABS kick on at all. The ABS program on this motorcycle is calibrated very well for its intended use, which is a mix of street riding and track riding. Speaking of track riding, we rode this bike at Chuckwalla Valley Raceway in Southern California and Sonoma Raceway in Northern California. And this motorcycle is an absolute hoot to ride on at the track. We like the more aggressive ergonomics, courtesy of that slightly lower Clubman handlebar, slightly lower seat, and a little bit more far forward canted riding position. The adjustable foot pegs is another nice touch. We have the foot pegs in the lower setting, but if you wanted a little bit more ground clearance, or maybe you're a little bit smaller of a rider in terms of stature, you can move those foot pegs up a little bit. I really like the way this motorcycle handles the track. Despite its nearly 2-inch longer swing arm, this thing's got a long wheelbase, but it really cuts directions really well. But because it has a long wheelbase, it almost kind of feels like a Hayabusa on the track, where it's got a lot of stability. You lean this thing over and you can just light up that rear tire, and this bike isn't doing anything crazy because it's got that long wheelbase that tracks so splendidly. Probably the only downside of having that long wheelbase is that front tire feels kicked out a little bit far, so the feel's not the best when you're at max lean on this bike, but it's still enough to get the blood pumping. It's still enough to have fun. Those Batlax S22 OE fitted tires, they work really good on the straight, on the track. I love the suspension on this motorcycle, especially for street riding. With over 5 inches of suspension travel, this motorcycle really sucks the bumps up really well on the street. I like that you can totally adjust the damping and the spring preload of the fork. The shock has less adjustment and it works well, but I'm not totally sold on that upside down type linkage that these MT-09s and XSR900s now employ. They work great for straight street duty. They go over the bumps really well and absorb the road imperfections with a high degree of capability. But on the racetrack, it loses a little bit of its handling performance when you're really on the edge of the tire. But then again, these bikes aren't track bikes, they're street bikes, and they flirt that line very well. Now, we rode this motorcycle at night, and the LED headlamp does a very nice job of illuminating the road ahead. I like that this vehicle comes with LED turn signals and an LED taillight. Styling on this motorcycle. Styling on this vehicle is one of my favorite features. I love how the Tuning Fork brand is paying homage to where it's been. I love this boxy style seat junction here, the way the fuel tank's shaped, these quick release fasteners on this motorcycle. This motorcycle has a lot of cool styling touches that make you feel like you're riding an old Yamaha bike, but it's new. This legend blue paint that Yamaha used to run on its 80s era GP bikes, it's just stunning. This bike just looks so awesome. When you pull up to a stop sign, people are going to notice you on this motorcycle. The rear view mirrors, I like how they're integrated into the bike in terms of styling, but they make the handlebar so wide when you're splitting lanes in traffic or even maneuvering through the garage. This motorcycle is so wide. I wish this bike had just traditional mirror stocks, but we can live with it on this bike. I really like that Brembo radial mount master cylinder. That master cylinder gives really good braking feel when you are on the front brakes of this motorcycle. The rear brakes also very powerful, has a lot of feel. This motorcycle stops really quickly and has really good braking response. Other neat features about this motorcycle are its durability. This motorcycle goes 6,000 miles between oil changes, 12,000 miles between engine oil filter changes, and the valve inspection interval on this 890cc CP3 engine is 24,000 miles. So you're not going to spend a lot of money monkeying with this bike. These bikes are built to last. They're made in Japan, and they come with a 1-year warranty. Some people will be like, I want a 2-3-year warranty. But in our experience, these Yamaha motor vehicles are built Ford tough, and they last the distance. Aside from the mirrors, another fault I have with this bike is just the fuel tank. 3.7 gallons of fuel capacity. That's not a lot. I know Yamaha's done improvements to make this vehicle and this engine more efficient, but still, we're only averaging 35, 36 miles per gallon on this bike. And with a 3.7 gallon fuel tank, you don't have a lot of range. I wish this motorcycle, like many bikes, had a larger fuel tank. I also wish the color instrumentation was bigger. The instrumentation is nice, it's sharp and it's crisp, but it's a little bit small. And the tactile function of the switchgear, while it's easy to use after you figure out how to navigate the menu system, especially if you've ridden other Yamaha motorcycles because they're all basically the same, the tactile function on the buttons and the switches isn't very good. When they debuted that style switchgear on the 2015 YZF R1, it was awesome. Fast forward 7 years and it feels just downright old. We'd like to see some improvements on the color TFT size and the tactile function of the switchgear. But besides those few knocks, for $10,000, this is a really nice motorcycle. The engine has tons of performance. It sounds just as awesome as a Triumph Triple, yet it has less vibration through the controls. It handles really well in the street and the track, soaks up the bumps real nice, has good brakes, has a lot of good, easy to use electronics that help you ride the motorcycle more to your potential. And it's just a plain awesome bike. If you're looking for a fun and affordable retro sport bike that checks a lot of boxes, look into this 2022 XSR900. All right, folks, that wraps up our review of this XSR900 from Yamaha. Make sure to surf on over to motorcyclistonline.com. That's where all of our written content comes to life. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Thumbs it down if you didn't, because we love hearing from the naysayers out there. And thanks for riding with us today. We look forward to riding with you again in the next episode. See ya.